He's the Director of Legal Education and Ghana School of Law. He's on appointment as Justice of the Court of Appeal of the Republic of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, His Lordship, Justice Barima Yaw Kodie Oppong. Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Right, so I'm delighted to be here. I've been in London for a few times, but I mean, this will be the most memorable because I'm going to share a word or two with our good friends, both those from Ghana and those who are yet to go to Ghana and remain there forever. But I will start with a catchphrase that I just got from my senior. So if you want to acquire land in Ghana, just pause. Look for Victoria and Anna, and you'll be fine. I want us to look at some steps that we need to take before we acquire land in Ghana. And I must say that it becomes easier for me because all that I will say, they are what I call burdens that Anna and Victoria have graciously decided to carry for you. So they've carried this cross. And so all you need to do is just follow, and you will see the steps that they would have taken for you if they finally hand over your property to you. So you will know your money's worth, and you know the effort that they have put in order to get you land. And I say that if you don't follow these steps and others that you may know already, and if you don't go through Anna and Victoria, you will think you are going to buy land. You rather buy litigation. And the lawyers will be happy for it. So if you're a prospective landowner, the first thing is indeed look for a lawyer, because it is an illegality to engage anyone other than a lawyer to do land transaction for you in Ghana. Only lawyers are qualified in law to prepare land documents for you, not surveyors, at least not yet, or any other persons of other profession. They are also important. The surveyors will help you demarcate the land and do all the other things, like registration and so on, but they do not have the power in law to prepare any land document for you. The document may finally be determined by the court to be an illegality, and therefore it gave you nothing. So now if you come through Anna and Victoria, they have lawyers, they have surveyors, they have land registration experts, and then the construction side, the investment side, they have enough of them. So the first thing to do when you are going to acquire land or even property that has already been built for you, you need to find out from the landowner where exactly is this land. You have to do physical inspection of the land itself, because you may see it in picture, or somebody may describe it to you with video, but we have human beings and we are human. There are some that have decided to choose the negative aspect of what we don't aspire to be. So in other words, there are bad people. So you need to rather get those who they know that even if they engage in an illegality, they will have the punishment for it. And lawyers are handy. So the physical examination of the land or the property is very important. And if it's the property you are acquiring, it's not enough to just say that, oh yes, I've seen the building, I've been given the key. There are certain things that may follow that you later realize that, yes, when you said you wanted land for 40 years, you have the property, but you go and check later at the appropriate land agencies, and you were only given 20 years. So it doesn't matter who is giving you the property. You need to investigate about the land itself, the physical location. I call it ocular inspection. You see with your own eyes. One advantage also with that is you will be able to identify, especially vacant land. You go there and sometimes there are building materials on it. They will lie to you, well, they will tell you that the construction materials were placed on the land by myself or my son. But once you see that, it gives you notice that somebody else may be the owner. And so the inspection, number one, the adjoining landowners, once they see you being a different person who has come to the land, if somebody else has been given the land, they will prompt you. In fact, it's your duty to even go to them to find out whether this land is owned by the person who has taken you there to do the physical inspection. And so that is very key because under the laws of Ghana, if I'm not going too legalistic, there's something we call, I think most people know, caveat emptor, buyer beware. We still have it in our laws. You may have serious consequences if you are not taking the steps that will show that you have actually been aware of these negativities and taking proper steps against it. So it's always important to do a physical inspection of the land itself. And then a lot of the things will follow. Now, you will also have to find out one thing, the identity of the person who is selling the interest in land to you or the land itself for many reasons. The first one is if the property is a family property, then you have to know whether it's the head of family you are dealing with. Because even in Ghana, head of family alone cannot alienate land to you. He needs the approval, the consent of some key members of the family as well. And so you must always insist that at least 3 other members of the family should witness the execution of the document. And that is very key. Otherwise, again, they will bring it to the court. And if you are not lucky, the court will just strike out the whole thing. And you would have lost a great deal of investment. The identity is also important because in Ghana, of course, generally, in law we say you cannot give what you don't have. And so if you come to a person who says, I have 70 years lease to give you, first of all, you must ask yourself whether you are a Ghanaian. If you are not a Ghanaian, know that you cannot acquire land in Ghana for more than 50 years at any one time. Of course, you can just state that subject to renewal for another 20 years and another 5 years and another 10 years and so on. But if it's 50 years, if it gives you 51 years at a go, know that the whole thing is an illegality. So you must be able to tell the person that I'm not a citizen of Ghana yet, so I cannot take 51 years or 53 years at a time. So you have to make it 50 years subject to renewal. And this is a matter that is in the Constitution itself. And in Ghana, as we say, the Constitution is our supreme law. And so anything that you do which is inconsistent with the Constitution will be declared void. And you don't want your transaction to be declared void in that sense. So the important thing is your own identity also. Are you a citizen of Ghana yet? No. Then be mindful what the other person is offering you. Because if he gives you 60 years, the amount may be higher than if he was giving you 60 years. When you give him 60 years, or he gives you 60 years and you pay him, you are not going to get anything. If it's taken to court, the court will just have to comply with the Constitution because you did not qualify to have the land at that number of years, as it were. So that's very important. The person giving you also, you should find out whether he's a citizen of Ghana. Because if he's not a citizen of Ghana, then he cannot give you more than 50 years. So your own identity is as important as that of the person who is offering to pay or give you the land. And that is why the identity is important, apart from the fact that you should be very certain that he actually owns the land. If he's the managing director of a company, you need to go to the company's registry and conduct a search and find out whether or not the company's records show that the company owns the land indeed. And that is also very key for us to look at it. I don't particularly like the constitutional provision that non-citizens cannot acquire 50 years, and I've written about it more than 50 years, because there's no evidence that non-citizens waste our land. It's rather the opposite. That is the fact. People cannot invest hundreds of thousands in land and see that it goes waste. No. So I have openly expressed my disagreement with that. But it's a constitutional provision nonetheless. I think efforts have been made to have that change. It's even worse for Ghanaians who, for some reason, many reasons, have become citizens of other countries. And yet, like you said, we don't say this is our home. We say we are going home, which is Ghana. But they are citizens of this country. But you should know that a lot of other things, or things other than the fact that they really want to change their citizenship, cause them to do that. And so you don't deny, especially people of Ghanaian descent, the right to acquire the same land as the other person. And I think that is quite unfair. And it is a barrier. It is a concern for many investors. Because if property, the lifespan of a property is 50 years, and you want him to invest millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars only for it to go to the state or the other person after 50 years, because they may not also have included extension of the time, then most people won't make the attempt in the first place just to invest for 50 years. And I think that is something that is being looked at. Now, also, then you need to require copies of the document. If the land is documented, you need to ask them to give you copies of the land documents. And that is very important, because then you can on your own go to the government institution responsible, we call them Lands Commission, and conduct an independent search. If the search doesn't show that the land is registered or even plotted in the name of the one who wants to give the land to you, that is a signpost that you may be heading to buying litigation and not land. And so you should demand. Sometimes they will be reluctant to give you, but of course, as I keep saying, they are also concerned that the person coming to take the document may not use it for the purpose for which they are taking it. But credible platforms and prestigious platforms like Anna and Victoria's own may easily get such documentation and work on it for you, so that you don't have any problem as to whether the person granting you the land actually owns it or not. Is my time getting close? I've gone past it.
He's given away all the gems. We're going to have a Q&A very soon, and I don't want you to lose steam, because I know there'll be so much questions. So you can just kindly finish up, because I know the questions, they will be tackling you. So save your steam.
Okay.
So,
thank you so much. So I will conclude by saying that let us all trust in this platform. I mean, we've done a lot of research behind the scenes. It's the best that has ever happened in terms of land acquisition. I have lived here before, and I also thought I had asked family members to buy land for me. When I went, there was nothing for me. So I have a personal experience. If I had Anna and Victoria at that time, this was about 27 years ago, perhaps, I'm quite old, if you didn't know. Perhaps I would have owned my land or my property about 27 years ago, unlike what I have about just 10 years ago. So let's thank God for Anna and Victoria, and we are still available till Monday. If you have any questions on legal issues, my friend is here on the tax issues. We'll also be on the table. Addresses may also be emails or other sources of contact may be available through Anna and Victoria. You can always reach out to us. I'm sure you ask questions about the court system. I'm prepared for you. And so I will rest here so that I don't get further promptings from Amake. Thank you.
Thank you, His Lordship Yaw Oppong.